first I went to Los Angeles, then I went to Arizona, and then I went back home to Florida a couple days later. I don't know why I mentioned that last part, but today we're going to be talking about my competition at Arizona Dynamics and this entire trip. A lot went on, and this video is just going to be insane. What's going on, electrolytes? It's 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗖𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗍 here, and today we're going to be talking about a crazy competition over at Arizona Dynamics in Arizona. Now, if you noticed, I called you guys electrolytes. That's because in the last video, I had so many people drop comments down below about what name you think that our fan base / viewer base should have, and electrolytes was one of my favorites, but I had so many of my favorite ones. So what I'm going to do is every video, I'm going to come up with a new name for you guys or take a suggestion from the comments down below. So keep suggesting those names and you may get featured. Thank you to 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗖𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗧, aka TK Ninja Tricks, for suggesting that name. He will be on American Ninja Warrior Season 14. Watch out for him. He is a super talented athlete. I love the name electrolytes. It was hilarious. So let's get some context going here. Why was I in Los Angeles before I went to Arizona? Well, if you recall, last year, my friend Ryan and I, we built a sculpture for the Super Bowl made 100% out of ocean trash. And guess what? We got invited back to do it for a third year this year for Super Bowl LVI in Los Angeles, hence why we were there. So we built this sculpture, we shipped it out to Los Angeles. We were a little nervous because the sculpture is very breakable. A lot of the trash could fall off easily, so we brought some extra trash with us just in case some would fall off during the shipping process. And it did. Here is a video of us carrying the football over to where the stand was supposed to be. Trash was falling off as we were carrying it. It was really disheartening. We were lucky we brought some extra trash, but we weren't sure if we were going to be able to display it. And we had a flight to catch too, so we only had around an hour and a half to fix this, or we would miss our flight. So it was a lot of suspense, pressure, and we were scared, and I'm going to be honest. But after about an hour and a half of gluing on and making it look perfect, the sculpture was finished, and it ended up looking amazing. This is my favorite one we made yet out of the 3 we've made. We made one for the Super Bowl LIV in Miami, last year for Super Bowl LV in Tampa, and this year for Super Bowl LVI in Los Angeles. It's a great way to bring awareness to ocean conservation issues through this art piece, and I want to say thank you so much to Ryan because he makes these amazing sculptures. You guys should go check him out, 𝗃𝐻𝑖𝑠 Wishes on Instagram. He makes so many amazing sculptures, but I want to say thank you to him for including me in these sculptures every year, because he's so talented and I really have the privilege of working alongside with him to do these, so thank you so much. So I told you we had a flight to catch, so we sprinted to go catch our flight and we flew into Arizona, and we were just having a fun trip there, but then we realized there's a competition. There's a competition at Arizona Dynamics, which is what we're going to be talking about today. This competition was a National Ninja League competition. There was not too many people there, but it was a fairly speedy course with some technical and weird aspects to it. So I'm going to show you guys my run, but first we're going to go over some quick little guidelines. First off, there was 7 people in the group, so it was a bit of a smaller competition, but it definitely adds a bit of pressure because when there's only 7 people, you really need to make sure you're at the top of your game. Another thing is that the time limit on this course was around 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so it wasn't too tight of a time limit because it was a fairly speedy course with a lot of balance and like speedy obstacles, but it was still a fairly tight time limit if you were to get caught up on anything. And finally, this is my last competition in the National Ninja League before regionals because it was the last week of competitions and we were just out in Arizona, so we figured why not go to this competition? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're out there, let's just do it. And just for a little bit more context, this gym was a gymnastics gym, so it did have a lot of gymnastics type obstacles, so a couple weird things that you could fall on pretty easily if you weren't careful. So those are some of the guidelines of the competition. Now we're gonna walk through my run. So anyway, the course started with the quad steps, just sprinted across them through. Then next was some easy cliffhangers, just did 1, 2 pulls and off. Then it was a line of balance. First it was this balance beam, then you had to jump out to this bar, run across the pad and across a couple more bars, then dismount. Then run up to this red pad, the rope swing. I actually had to take 1 extra backswing because I didn't get enough momentum. It was actually kind of awkward. And then because you couldn't knock over or touch those pads, then you had to run and jump onto this big rolling log and then dismount. And this next part was what was taking a lot of the best athletes out. It was really hard and you had to spin around these mats without touching them. And you can see I made a good save here. I actually almost fell because the strap on it was so short. Then anyway, next you had to reach out to a nunchuck, grab a cannonball, big pull back, and dismount. And then after that, jump up to a special delivery on the falling X hold and dismount right off that. Jumping to special deliveries is always scary. Then it was a big underbar move over this mat. You really had to kick your legs up like crazy. And it was a little bit bigger than I expected, but I was able to do it. And then next was this insanely sketchy balance obstacle. You had to rock back and forth on it and then just sprint across. This thing was terrifying. Then it was a ring slider down with a huge dismount, actually. That was a big dismount. And the mat kept sliding back after every runner, and I was running later, so I got kind of scared because it was pretty far. Then final upper body obstacle, you had to jump up to these bunny ears, then go to the trapeze bar. I decided to static because I felt like it was easier. Then a big move to a special delivery from Makercraft. Then grab the ring, unhook it, hook it up into the other ring, and then lache up to the sombrero hold. Once you got the sombrero, you could dismount and then sprint over to the warped wall. Will I make it up the wall? It's 14.5 feet. Pretty tall, guys. You already knew it. I was going to make it up and hit that buzzer. And apparently knock the buzzer over too. So I ended up finishing the course. I was super happy with that, and only me and one other person ended up finishing the course, and I ended in first place for the entire competition. My final time was 1:45. Congrats to Andrew for second place. You killed it as well. And if you looked at third place, you might recognize him from a couple pictures earlier in this video. That's because that is my ocean partner, 𝗲𝗏𝗰𝗲𝗏𝗏. So I didn't tell you guys about this, but we went on a hike earlier in the morning, but Ryan wanted to do this competition just for fun. He'd never tried ninja before ever, except for maybe trying it at my house once or twice. And he ended up getting third in the elite division. Since we were on a hike, we couldn't have him compete in the young adult division, so he had to compete in elite. He had to run first because he signed up that day, and he ended up getting third out of 7 competitors. I want to say just a huge congrats to him as well. He had never done ninja before, seriously, and he ended up completing 7 obstacles on this course before failing. And apparently he's really good at balance because those first few obstacles were mainly balance, and he just blew right through them. He was so confident on them. I just want to say a huge congrats to you, Ryan. You really stepped up and killed it out there. So this course was pretty epic, so I'm going to give you guys a quick little top 3. Now, if you don't watch the 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗖𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗖 channel, top 3 is essentially where I give you guys my top 3 favorite moments from the competition. Come on, guys. Pretty self-explanatory. You should have figured this out. I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's get into the top 3. Number 3 was definitely that sketchy balance where you had to go across that swinging bridge. Guys, honestly, while I was on that, I thought there was a chance that I might die, but I ended up getting through it, and after I finished it, it wasn't as bad as I thought, but I will tell you, going into that, I was absolutely terrified, and I was so happy when I got through it. Coming in at number 2 was that last little hook onto the ring and dismount right off and run up the warped wall. It was just a very satisfying end to the course. I really liked the last obstacle, how it was still pretty simple, but it had a little bit of just like flair to it. I don't know. It was just a really fun last obstacle. And then sprinting up the warped wall was really nice. By the way, this warped wall was so grippy. It was just newly painted. Oh my gosh, the grippiest warped wall I've ever tried. So nice. And coming in at number 1 has to be my save on the 180 swing obstacle, because this strap was really short. And I'll tell you guys, I've had trouble with this kind of obstacle in the past. I failed on it in multiple competitions way back in the day, probably around 2 to 3 years ago. So being able to do it successfully, get through it, and not touch any of the mats and make a good save as well was awesome to me. And I mean, the save was pretty epic, you can't lie. And if you listened earlier, I mentioned a hike earlier in the day. Our guide was so awesome. We hiked through the Sonoran Desert, and I really learned a lot, and we got some really fun clips for the channel going through the Sonoran Desert, and I want to share some of those with you guys today. So enjoy. Hey, it's 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗖𝗧𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗧 here. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona at the Phoenix Mountains Preserve with
Matt from Wild Bunch and
Ryan 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 from the Fish's Wishes.
Woohoo!
We're here in the Sonoran Desert.
It's the most diverse and lush desert in the world. And Matt's about to teach us about some really cool facts about it.
all right, let's do it. Let's go.
Matt from Wild Bunch taught us about a bunch of different species of cacti.
This one here is a 𝗘𝗟𝗘𝗖𝗧𝗥𝗑𝗖𝗏. This is a prickly pear.
Yeah, and this is the strawberry hedgehog. This one here is a fish of barrel. Even though we're not near an ocean, doesn't mean we can't pick up trash.
Even in the Sonoran Desert, you can find pollution anywhere.
Juggle with anything.
There are so many saguaros in this desert.
Look around. It was super fun cleaning up the Phoenix Mountains Preserve.
Goodbye, trash.
Woohoo! All right, that's it, you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Comment down below names that you want to get featured in a future video, because remember, at the start of every video, I'm going to call you guys new names. Thanks to TK for the electrolytes name. I was laughing so hard after I heard that. Also, ask me questions for my shorts. Just keep asking those. Join the Electric Gang channel membership for $2.99 a month. You get some crazy perks, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.